Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for being here today and this afternoon for the session. I've got Antoinette here who's going to be discussing the 5 methods for effective collaboration between IT teams and school-level leadership for successful classroom technology implementation. So at the end, we'll have some Q&A. So think of your questions ahead of time, and we will address those at the end. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I know it's afternoon and we're all probably like, it's time to go. This is about the time I typically talk to my teachers, and as we all know, they are already long ago checked out because their kids have left the room. So I'll try to make this maybe a little shorter for y'all. So my name is Antoinette Latham. I work at Second Baptist School. I have been in education for over 15 years. I started out as a first grade teacher in a farming community. I had cows outside my portable building. And then I moved on to teach lots of different things in elementary, ended my classroom time in middle school. So if anybody has ever taught middle school, works with lots of middle schools, I have a soft spot for y'all because that is a very awkward time in life. I moved into full-time technology, and I currently work with about 175 teachers. I implement technology with them in meaningful ways because I'm the technology integration specialist there. We are a one-to-one Apple Distinguished School. We have been since 2012, and so we currently have one-to-one iPads K-7 and MacBook Airs 8 to 12, and then I have class sets based on how many kids are in each class in pre-K 3, pre-K 4, and we have a bridge class. So we have a little smattering of everything all over our campus. So our agenda, we're going to talk about collaboration, which I know most of you are like, that's kind of a no-brainer. So we're going to talk about communication, profiles, tools, and some deployments. So the first one, obviously, is communication. If we're not talking, it's not going to work. And so if anything, the only thing you get out of this is number 1 and 2 out of this session. Fantastic. So I am kind of the bridge. So I am the second bullet point that talks about utilizing your integration specialists or coaches, or maybe just somebody on your team that just like has a passion for education. Maybe that's not where they came from, but they just understand teacher speak as a way to do with that. And so basically I serve on lots of teams. So I serve on our academic team, I serve on our curriculum team, I work with our curriculum coordinators, I work with our division heads, but then I also live in the IT world. And so part of my role, besides helping all of our teachers, is to go into these meetings and have both hats that are on. And so in my division level leadership meetings, it's talking about what do the teachers need, but then they're also telling me, hey, so our network in this room is not working. Can you like fix that right now? So it's kind of like living in both of those worlds because they see me. And for whatever reason, the help desk is scary. I don't know. They're just like, but Antoinette's going to do this for us. However, we do have wonderful IT people on our campus who do all of the things that help with, the projectors, the Apple TVs, computers, etc. Part of my role, I also manage all of our iPads, but we have a set of IT guys who are wonderful, and they do all of our computers, our networking, our projectors, our Apple TVs, our televisions, etc. And so part of the communication piece is being able to be in all of these meetings and to take back all of that information and bring it back to the team. So I showed a little bit of our agendas. So we have tech team short accounts. I live in spreadsheets and documents just mainly because I have several divisions and several different leaders, and every leader has kind of their own thing. And so I kind of go through all of them, and then I communicate the most important pieces in our tech team short accounts. And we have a stand-up meeting. My campus is lots of fun in the sense that we have a coffee shop, and so we do like a 15-minute stand-up, and we all grab coffee and we say, what is important? We meet 3 times a week standing there. because I'm not housed currently with my tech team. And so this is our way of being able to do that communication, because otherwise it's like two different worlds. And so being able to have that moment is really great. And so then I'm going to move into specific device profiles, and alongside that is device groups. And so I'm going to kind of interchange both of those. So hopefully this video will start working. Yes. Okay, so this may seem very tedious at first. And I have been at this school for 8 years, and when I started this 8 years ago, the very first time I was like, ooh, what did I just say yes to? But once it got going, it now runs very seamless, but the initial off the point was very hard. So basically what I was showing there is iPad apps, and these are for my kindergarten through 4th grade students. I also have one for middle school as well. And then I also have one for athletics, because we have iPads in athletics, and every coach kind of has their own thing that they want. But what this is we started reviewing the requests made from teachers that come through the help ticket system, or they come through me when I'm meeting with them in their one-on-one goal meetings, or they go to a fantastic conference and they tell me in passing, hey, I really want this app. Can you put it out there for me? And so we started curating these lists and putting them all together with hyperlinks. And basically what happens with these lovely lists is these are the lists that go into your smart groups that get deployed. And this is what gets deployed every year to my iPads for my students. And so the teachers already know, because they see the lists. And at the end of the year, I review the lists in team meetings. So I meet with the team lead of each grade level, and I give them the list, and I say, is this what you still need for next year? Do you still want to do this? Is this app still relevant? Or have you changed your unit plan and you're like, I don't want to do this app anymore? It comes off the list. It goes into another list for me so that I remember what grade level it was for. But I make sure this is in self-service for the students. Some of them are automatically deployed, so like Google Docs, Google Slides, things like that we know they use right off the bat. Those are automatically deployed. The rest of them are put into self-service, so when the teacher comes time to do the unit she wants to do, she already knows that it's in the profile, and we don't have to have a help ticket anymore. Now, do we still get them? Of course, because there's new apps every time they go to anything. However, these are the standard ones that always come out. What has been nice about these is that they have now been shared with parents. Teachers, somebody comes home, our iPads in lower school do not go home with the kids, they stay on campus, but their student will come home and they'll be like, I just love Sushi Monster. And the parent's like, what are you doing in the classroom? We're playing what? So this has been really helpful. They've been able to send the links to parents, kind of explain this is what we do in center time. And then the parents have started loading them on their own apps at home on their iPads, so the kids have time to play them at home if they want to. So they've ended up being kind of a good communication and collaboration between us and the teacher, and then also home as well. Enrolling students and teachers in the same profile. I know some people are gonna be like, ooh, I don't like that. So at our school, we have multiple devices. So teachers have a MacBook. They also have an iPad if they have students that are on iPads. And so what has been nice is for modeling purposes, they have the identical same look as their students. So when they get up there and they're like, I need you to go to the student app and download this app, they can click on the student app and they can get the same app as the students. So it looks identical to what the kids are seeing. Now they still, this photo up here shows it, but they still have Jamf Teacher, mainly because obviously they're using that to control their classrooms. They also have apps that are very specific for them as teachers, but in hopes so that they can have the same look when they model, we put them in both profiles. It has helped because I'm sure as many of you have heard over the years, teachers will be like, my iPad does not look the same as students, and they don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm often like, nope, it's the same. It's the identical same thing. For a while, our teachers were on a different rollout, and so they had the button and not the swipe, and so they were convinced that the entire iPad was different. And I was like, no, you just have a button. That's it. Everything else is identical. So putting them into the same profiles has been very helpful for them. It also helps, too, because they have another as their main device. This is their teaching tool. If something is blocked or an app does not work, they can tell us and help desk because their iPads look the same. So it kind of cuts down on like, well, I have this one student that's not working, and I always tell them if it's not working on yours, it's not working on theirs because y'all are in the same one. So Apple Classroom and Jamf Teacher and Jamf Student, these work also good together. So Apple Classroom by itself is amazing. When I started teaching years ago, I had very old Apple iPads, and I loved using Apple Classroom. You could see it. You could see what they were doing. It had some glitches, as we all know. There are things that happen that, like, you have that one random student that has, like, the binoculars, and you have no idea why it does that. But pairing it with Jamf Teacher, things that we were hearing, and I was hearing a lot about it in my meetings, I was hearing about it with my curriculum people, the teachers are like, I need more control. I need all the control. Even though we have lots of filters on the iPads, we were giving them Apple Classroom, we had only the apps that they were requesting, they were like, no, we need more, like all of the things. And so being able to use Jamf Teacher helped a lot because, for example, I have a 7th grade teacher who absolutely cannot stand GimKit. She hates it. However, the rest of her team loves it. And so when the kids come to her, they want to play the GimKit from the other class because she doesn't allow GimKit. Well, now she doesn't have to worry about them going to GimKit. Because she has Jamf Teacher, and she can say that she does not want GimKit, and she can only allow the websites that she wants on those iPads. And that has helped. It has also helped cut down on like feedback that we were getting that students were navigating to other things. Not that they were navigating to anything bad, it was just that they were navigating to what I would say more fun things in other classes. So this really gave the teachers the ability to do more authentic assessments because a lot of the feedback I was getting from my teachers is I'm afraid to use it because what if they go do something else? So being able to pair this has really helped. And then this video, it's just kind of showing how to set up your first one. A lot of our teachers use the templates, and we have kind of taught them in a PD training how to set up for especially the school website. That's like the one main thing that they've wanted to use the most. We really just want to lock them into our learning management system because everything's there. We don't care about anything else, just that. So being able to give them Jamf Teacher to do that has been great. App deployments. So app deployments, like I showed those lists before, I do them by grade level, and we pair that with our security features as well. So we use Lightspeed at my school, and so we have different profiles based on the age of the student. And so we have it set up for like our littles, what they can and cannot do. Like they don't have Safari on their iPads. The older they get, the more they're allowed to do on their devices. But being able to do very specific deployments has been very helpful. And so, hopefully this, yes. The ease of multiple blocking. I use a lot of my device groups to do this. I also use profiles that are very specific. So I have very specific profiles for lower school, middle school, upper school. And all of this comes back to my meetings with my district level admin. So in all of my meetings, we sit down and we talk about like what is going to be blocked, what do you need in your particular division, whether you're lower school, middle school, or upper school. What do you need? Like, do you want this? Do you want that? And so we have it tailored for them so that when we deploy it, it's specific for that division. And we use a lot of our smart groups for that. One for apps, one for just allowing the different software to go out to those different ones. And it doesn't interfere with anything. I would say the only time is we always have that one hang up with a student that maybe is like in advanced classes and ends up taking something like in an upper school. So we always kind of have like that one profile where we have to kind of play with the configurations, because we have students that, like I said, are in advanced classes, so they end up in a little bit different situation. But this does help with the communication. It also helps too with the IT team, because we already have all that documentation from them. So if we ever get a school administrator or a curriculum person who's like, I don't remember, did I do that? And it's like, oh wait, we have the documentation. And it's only for this amount of people. It has been helpful with all of these things to leverage that person or those people who kind of go between curriculum, academics, and IT. A good example would be our IT guys. They see the kids because they come in, right, and they have like a broken device, or they come in and they're like, I would like this unblocked. And what's nice is I have all the documentation, so they know yes or no. Like, nope, you're not going to go shopping, because that seems to be a thing. The kids will come in and be like, oh no, it's for a project. And they don't know, because they're not with the kids or the teachers, right? They're there trying to make our devices work right. So it has been good to be the bridge and to have somebody who can talk into it really quickly, or to say, hey, there's this big project coming up. You're going to see a lot of kids that may or may not need these things unblocked. We have schools of distinction at my school, so we have kids that are in like pre-med and pre-law and advanced sciences. And so we also have advanced business classes. So they tend to have to access things, for instance, like the stock market and things like that, to be able to complete projects. And so they have very specific profiles and collaboration between them, so that we know that this is what needs to be put out there. All right, so is there anybody who has any questions for me?
Come on. Oh, okay.
It sounds like your district is pretty large. Are you the only technology integration specialist in your district?
So I am the only integration specialist. And so we are a fairly large Christian school. So I work at the main campus, and that's the campus that has students with one-to-one devices. We also have 6 other campuses. The teachers there have devices. However, the students do not, because they are a classical model, whereas we are a traditional modeled school. And so I have 3 divisions, and there's one of me. So I live and die by my calendar, that is for sure.
I was hesitant to ask this question because I feel like you mentioned it and I might have just missed it. But I was particularly interested in what you said about classroom and adding Jamf teacher and Jamf student, because it gives the teacher more control over what the student can do. And I just was curious if you could elaborate a little bit more on that, what the teachers are doing, or I guess what they're limited by with just using classroom, and what more they're able to do with Jamf student and teacher.
So with Classroom, you can navigate them to websites. You can see their screens in semi-real time, depending on how robust your network is. But with Jamf Teacher, once you have set up Apple Classroom, all of those students appear in Jamf Teacher once you've allowed it. And in Jamf Teacher, they can literally pick what apps on the iPad they would like. And then under websites, they can pick all of the URLs that they want. And as soon as they say start class, all of the other apps disappear. And it just basically hides them for like however long the teacher has set. I don't let my teachers go past 50 minutes. Our class periods are 45, so I allow like a 5 minute. So on the MDM side, I allow 50, just in case somebody gets stuck, like they left. But they literally, like if the student, I'm sure all of you have had gaming issues over the years, so if a student decides to go to some sort of Google website with games on it, it says blocked by your teacher, because it only allows whatever websites they have said. The one thing that we have discovered in Jamf Teacher is that our school website, we literally have to copy each URL inside the website. So the kids log in, and then they have to go to their class, and then they go to a topics page. So the teacher has to copy all three, otherwise it blocks them. Which is why we love templates, because I tell them you set it up once, and now you don't have to worry about making sure you've got every single URL in there. In Jamf Teacher. So we do it as a big PD group. So we sit with them and have them set it up on their own, just because we can't set it up. Also, I want them to know how to get there. And so when we do our website training for our learning management system, I incorporate that in there. And so I have them copy it as they go along to each one, and then they just paste it into the template. And so then they have the template for the whole time. I do wish that that could be shared across teachers, especially teachers who like teach the same subject and have the identical same schedule. It would be great to transport that between them or share them somehow, or for me to share it with them. But that isn't there yet. Maybe they'll add that in there soon.
I got in trouble for not using the microphone because it doesn't make it on the recording, I guess, in a previous set. Question for you. How are you creating the classes? Are you having the teachers do that, or is that through your SDS system? If it's the teachers creating it, are they creating them in Apple Classroom, or are they creating them with the Jamf Teacher?
So in our K-4, I'm a little too nice, I will admit. I actually set up K-4 for them, mainly because I also enroll their students into our learning management system for them, so I already have the class list. So I set it up for them in Apple. I put that into Apple School Manager. They're already there, and it appears in Jamf Teacher. Now for my 5th grade on up, because they rotate throughout the day, the teachers set them up. And what I have them do is I have them set it up in Apple Classroom, just like they normally would. And then it syncs, and I usually tell them 24 hours, and then the next day it's in Jamf Teacher, and we really tell them to run everything through Jamf Teacher. We have them set up Apple Classroom mainly because in case there is that one student you need to monitor and need to see their screen, which I always tell them you shouldn't need to do that if you're using Jamf Teacher, but I do know I have some teachers that are tried and true, do not want to do anything but Apple Classroom. So we have them do it in that. But it seems to work better having it set up that way so that it syncs, and then that gives them 2 options depending on the user.
From what you just said, it sounds like you're manually entering the classes in Classroom.
So
Or Apple School Manager?
So I do a CSV upload. So our student information system is Blackbaud, and it does not sync with Apple School Manager. Every year I hope that it comes out on that list of preferred vendors. I know that there is the I'm probably gonna mess this up, but I know there's like an access, I don't remember, it's called Cisco. Cisco, I think, asked us something like that, and we did some research about connecting that to our ASM for Blackbaud. We've heard it worked really well with other schools. It's actually on our to-do for next year because we did a major refresh this year, and it was the refresh year of all of our devices, MacBooks and iPads. So we had like 2,500 devices we were doing, and we were like, we don't need one thing to break. So
We use Blackbaud too, and it's Claris Connect.
Yes,
And
I was like, I know
Apple
it's
doesn't really like advertise it, but they support it fully, and they worked with us, and we got it going all automatically.
Oh, nice.
And it's like literally kind of awesome that it actually works. I'm a little surprised, but it works. And we've had some hurdles, especially with Blackbaud integration, but I'm happy to talk to you more, and you too.
I would love to hear all about it.
Cool. All right.
Truly. Because Blackbaud is one of those things that it does not link with like anything.
So I just wanted to add that into the Claris Connect, we actually got that integrated earlier this year with our SIS, which is Follett Aspen. And basically all it's doing, it's pulling data from your SIS, putting it in a little server, and then your Apple School Manager is fetching that data, or Jamf teacher can fetch that data. So yes, I can attest that Claris Connect is awesome, and it started with me reaching out to my Apple rep, which then got a special support person involved. So I just wanted to mention that.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear it's working because now I'm like more confident to try it over the summer.
Any other questions?
So the tool set that you're using is Jamf School then? Were you using Jamf Pro previously to that? Why did you switch? What have you found challenges with?
So I switched several years ago. I did a beta version of Jamf School. I happened to time it just right. Our department did a lot of changes, and so we have a third-party team that comes in and does the computers, and they use Mosel to manage our MacBooks. And so at the time, it was like we were using Jamf Pro for everything, and I did a pilot, and my director at the time was like, you're going to be managing the iPad still, so I'll let you decide what you want to do. And so I jumped to Jamf School. It's probably one of the best decisions I've made, mainly because it gives me my time back in the classroom, because I do work with the teachers. I am with the students as well. I'm doing team teaching. I have lots of things going around. And so being able to manage all of my devices from my cell phone, if I wanted to, or my iPad, and the usability of it is so much better for what the iPad needed and what our school needed at the time. And I love all the things that they've come out with over the years for Jamf School. But it's been user-friendly. And it's also been great that I can have somebody call me if I'm like at a conference like this, and I can walk them through it on the phone. And I stopped having to script. I stopped having to do a lot of those things because of what it offered for the iPads. And it's just a much cleaner, like, look. I also had inherited a Jamf Pro that was like a mess. So anything looked better at that time to me. But my big thing was usability, like that I could do and that it was intuitive enough that I could click on it and tell somebody else how to click on things to get what needed to my iPads. Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone.